I had quoted John Wooden, and he's famous for one of his many famous sayings was, when opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare. And that's what I stress with folks who are, senior homeowners, very low first mortgage or no first mortgage at all. And they're like, nah, not interested. I don't need the money. I'm too worried about losing my equity, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you got to realize, you got to take into account that saying that John Wooden was right. When opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare. Or to change that a little bit, when a challenge, a financial challenge presents itself, it can be too late to prepare for that. So one of the things senior homeowners need to understand is, while things all may look great and rosy and your health is good and you got a lot of money in your retirement accounts and fully invested in the market, you're feeling like, I'm sitting pretty, I don't need this. Well, you're going to oftentimes be surprised. A day will come when suddenly you need it, and you need it really badly. And you could be scrambling to get this done at that time for maybe a variety of reasons. Why not do it now, even when you feel like you're sitting pretty and couldn't be better off financially? If you've got the equity, why not put that equity into a vehicle that you can then tap into when you need it? I can't stress that enough. And too many senior homeowners don't think through that and realize it's a strategic tool. It's not just a last minute, I'll go after it when I need it, because a lot of times that's too late.
Well, that's such a strong point that as you were saying, I'm like, oh, geez, I think I'm kind of guilty of that. Often I'll go to my bank and they'll say, hey, Jeff, you should think about having a line of credit. I'm like, I don't need it. I said, I paid for my own business and blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, that's not the point. And I kind of like listen, but don't listen.
Right.
And you just drove that point home. It's like, it's nice to have, if you think about it, it's nice to have that credit card that you never use, but you could use in case of an emergency or, quite frankly, an opportunity. So maybe I have to revisit that thought, Art. Thank you.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Let's go to this next one. I think this is important. Is you talked about some of the unique benefits.
Yeah. And again, in particular, what we've got on this particular slide is it's about the HECM line of credit. What folks don't realize, and this is unlike a traditional line of credit, the HELOC line of credit, the unused portion grows over time.
Wait a minute. Can you, that sounds like, okay, it's not a plant that we're just watering. So how does it grow over time, Art?
It's the way the product is designed. As in my earlier example, you get a HECM reverse mortgage. Maybe you got a $150,000 existing mortgage. You're going to pay that off. You're going to pay the closing costs. So maybe at the time the loan closes, you need $200,000 to cover everything. But based on your age and value of the home, you may have $400,000 left over. Maybe your home's worth, $1.5 million. Well, you don't need that money right away. You don't want to set up monthly payments to pull the money. You say, I just want the rest of the line of credit. And so when the loan closes, you got $400,000 sitting there. Again, the first benefit is no interest cost on that because you haven't used it.
Okay.
But then what happens to that $400,000 limit? Each year it goes up, typically by 4 to 5%.
Are you talking about just natural growth of the value of the property is the reason it goes up?
Well, it's not necessarily about the value of the property. It's just the line of credit itself will go up. The limit will go up, typically at a rate approximating what your interest is on the loan. Okay. So you're going to see that line of credit starts at 400 and it's zero balance. Next year, it could go to 410. Year after, it could go to 418. So the point is, again, you've prepared. You've decided we're going to go ahead and get this loan. We don't really have a compelling, huge financial need right now, but we want to prepare for the future because there come a time where maybe income gets disrupted, our financial assets may, take a hit for some reason. Maybe we have a, God forbid, a 20% stock market correction, whatever. Well, by then, at that later time, you could be scrambling to grab that equity that you have now. Why not get it again? Put some of that equity, the most you can get based on your age, get it into a vehicle now that you're not paying interest on yet, and then this unique benefit is that limit that's initially 400 is going to grow. So eventually you may not have just 400 to tap into. It could, depending on how many years in the future, it could go to 450 or 500. That is a terrific benefit that a traditional HELOC doesn't give you at all. So that's why I stress that over and over and over again for folks who are still on the fence about whether to do it. Because as the other bullet points show, you've now got a growing emergency reserve. It provides you protection and increased protection for unexpected healthcare costs. It can help you reduce the need to have to liquidate your money that might be fully invested in your IRA and so forth, or in times where we have a market correction and maybe you've been pulling money out of your IRA to help live on. You can stop doing that and then tap into that line of credit until such time the stock market reverses course and gets back to normal, quote unquote. And so again, the real point is at the bottom, provides flexibility without requiring homeowners to take funds that they don't currently need. So it's a strategic tool to access when you really do need it. Again, it gives you that opportunity to not have to, basically it's a function of you've made the plan to address a future financial challenge so that you're not scrambling to do that when the challenge hits you in the face.
Well, I love the way you're talking about this, Art, because you're kind of reframing it from my last resort to a strategic, this is my first move, and it's there. So it makes decision making, it's almost like one of those things, whenever we're panicking, that's a terrible time to make decisions. And when you're under that kind of pressure, whether it's financial or health or whatever that is, you have that already done. So I love the idea of reframing this from the last resort to your first move.
Exactly right, because when you get to be older in your years, surprises can be very unsettling and create a great deal of stress and anxiety. Wouldn't it be great to position yourself to deal with that in a much more calm manner and have the resources available pretty much on a moment's notice to get the funds you need to face that challenge and do so in a much less stressful way? It's something I can't stress enough. And every time I get a homeowner who's like hesitant, I'm pretty successful in getting them to realize, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to wait till I need this as a last resort. I need to reshape my thinking and make this a financial tool that I get earlier, not later.